Hi everybody, this is Susie Q from SuzQCrafter21.blogspot.com, and I'd like to share with you some iCads that I did for a challenge over on Minialbumscraps. I host the art journal challenge, but I found that some of the ladies like to do the smaller index cards, so I decided to go ahead and do a few techniques on the index cards just to give everybody some options. This was a little bit easier for me to do. Um, they're smaller and you can get them done a lot quicker. So these are some of my cards and these are some of the techniques. And the actual challenge, which also was a challenge for myself, was to take a technique that you like to do and go ahead and perfect that technique or get better at the technique. I love to stamp, but I'm not always 100% with it, and I like to get better with my stamping. So, so I tend to lean towards using digital stamps. But with all of these cards here, except for one, I did, most of them I did some type of stamping on the card. And I also use stencils, and I'd like to get better at using stencils. So the actual challenge is to take a technique that you might not feel comfortable doing and just try to keep practicing with that technique. And you could still use your art journal to do the challenge, because you can use that same technique in a few different places in your art journal. So let me show you what I've done. And I also have incorporated a few techniques that I learned by watching a few YouTube videos, like with this card here that I did. This is actually done, or it's sprayed with a DIY resist spray, and it's all it is glue and water and some shimmer. And I got this idea from the Fugal Crafter. She shows you how to make the spray. Now the only thing I can say is that my spray probably didn't come out exactly like hers did, because I don't really see where it's resistant in certain areas. But I do like the effect that I got, and I probably will use this up until it's finished and then try to make it according to how she actually did her spray. The only difference with mine is I use Mod Podge instead of using the glue all. What I did was I went in and I used the spray, I let it dry, and after I let the spray dry, I went back and used the distress ink and inked all over the page with the aged mahogany, I believe, and I think the shutter green. I'm not for sure. I forget which green I used, but I used one of the greens of the Tim Holtz Distress inks. And then after that, let it dry. Then I went in and I stamped. I do like the way the stamp image came out on this side. However, I didn't like the way the stamp image came out over here, so I decided to cover it up with a flower. And this piece right here is from one of the Graphic 45 books. Now that was one of the ones that I stamped on. Now this one here I stamped on, and I actually stamped it the first time and it didn't take. As you can see, it didn't take in there. And with mixed media, you can stamp and be off a little and it still look nice, but I wanted a more defined stamped on this image, so I went ahead and stamped it again. So, but this is again me practicing with my stamping. And I did do the same thing with this card, and I'll leave the link for the Fugal Crafter in the description box. for that particular video that she did with the resist spray. I had fun doing these. These were a lot of fun. Now the next one that I have here, this one, I actually did this, the base of it I did a couple of weeks ago. This one, and this one. I used the gel plate to make these. I did a whole bunch of these at one time. And that was a lot of fun too, and that was my first time doing that. And I plan on going back and using the gel plate a little bit more. But what I did here was I stamped the image, and I really like the way this turned out. I used the archival ink for this, and then I added a butterfly here on the side. And this is with the Inka Gold metallic rub, and I also used the distressed ink around the edges of the butterfly to make, to give it like a really tarnished look. And that's that one. And then this one, I cut out some stencils. Well, I was off for a whole week because of the snow here in Georgia. So I was able to watch a few videos, quite a few videos. And I learned how to make stencils using my Cameo. And this is one of the stencils that I made. This was a royalty-free image that I got from Dover Publications, and I went ahead and made those stencils, and then I used the stencil on this card right here, and again I used the gel plate to do the background. Now I stamped a caterpillar here, right here, but again I didn't really like the way it turned out. But with mixed media, I don't really feel like there's a right or wrong way, but this is me again practicing with my stamping. And this one right here, I was playing around with some watercolor paints. I got this, and I used that on the green, and just really just playing around with it. And I also used, I have some other watercolors that I used too to paint. This image is stamped. This is a stencil. And I just used watercolors on this. They're called Inktense blocks. And they're really nice. I got that from the Fugal Crafter too. And I like the way, the effect that they give on those. These actually, like here, this actually really looks like paint more so than watercolor to me, but I like the effect that it gave. And the only other one that I like to show you is this one, where I again used the stencil that I made, and I'm going to be making a bunch of stencils. I used the stencil that I made to put some paste down. This is the paste that I used. And then I did a little bit of coloring over the paste and just added some butterflies. But this, again, is just me experimenting with different techniques. And this last one is where I took the distress ink and I covered the whole page with 2 different colors, and then I went back in with the the stencil, and I did use the color that I used over here. I don't know if you can really see it that good. Put it over on this side with the stencil, and then just and then I did the same thing on this side. And I really like the way this looks. And I'll probably be doing this again on some other projects that I have in the making. Well, that's it for now. Again, this is for Minialbumscraps, and the challenge is to take a technique that you might not be comfortable with, but you like, and just keep working with that technique until you actually feel like you're better, a little bit better with doing the technique. I will post the challenge on Minialbumscraps under challenges, and I look forward to anybody who wants to come over and join us on Minialbumscraps. And happy crafting till next time.